Hello and welcome to the Liberty is Essential podcast. This is episode 6. And today we're going to talk about, and my name's Donald Rainwater. Today we're going to talk about the Indiana state budget that was just passed through the Indiana House of Representatives and has moved on to the Indiana State Senate. And the tax increases. Actually, there's a tax increase and a new tax that we need to talk about because there's a list of 16 state representatives who pledged to vote no on any attempt to raise taxes in Indiana and voted yes for the state budget, including these new taxes. So let's take a look, first of all, at the promise that was made by these 16 state representatives. I've shown you before the Americans for Tax Reform Taxpayer Protection Pledge. And what we have is very simply a pledge that is really straightforward. That says, I pledge to the taxpayers of the state of Indiana that I will oppose and vote against any and all efforts to increase taxes. Now, it doesn't say I'll vote against any and all efforts to increase taxes unless they're in a state budget or unless they're specifically targeting smokers. What it says is I will oppose and vote against any and all efforts to increase taxes. You'll notice it also doesn't have an end date. There is no I will oppose and vote against all efforts to increase taxes during my first term or for a period of 5 years. It says I will oppose and vote against any and all efforts to increase taxes, period. And I show you this because there's a list in the pledge database at atr.org. If you go in and under office, you select State House, and in state, you select Indiana, and you'll see the names of 17 people who have not only made this pledge in writing, but uploaded it to this database. A public acknowledgement of making this pledge. And out of these 17 people, 16 of them voted for these tax increases on the cigarette tax and the e-liquid, the new e-liquid tax. And this is significant because it goes to credibility. It goes to whether or not you, the taxpayer, you, the voter, can trust what these people tell you when they run for office. Because every 2 years, they campaign for re-election. And they've made this pledge, but they're not keeping it. Because 16 people whose names are on this list are also in the yays on this list. These are the people who voted for the new state budget. And this vote was taken on February 22nd. And I want to make it very clear. I'm going to read off these names for you and the district that they're in so that you know these are the people who told you if you elect me to the state representative office, I will vote no. I will oppose and vote against all efforts to increase taxes. So here we go. Robert Benning, District 91. Timothy Brown, District 41. Martin Carbaugh, District 81. Bob Cherry, District 53. Michelle Davis, District 58. Stephen Davison, District 73. Jeff Ellington, District 62. Bob Heaton, District 46. Todd Houston, Speaker of the House, and District 37. Chris Jeter, District 88. Don Leahy, District 25. Jim Lucas, District 69. Zach Payne, District 66. Jerry Torr, District 39. Tim Wesco, District 21. And Cindy Zemke, District 55. Now, at some time in the past, they all signed this pledge. But on the 22nd day of February, 2021, they voted yes. As part of the new state budget, I would like to vote yes for the tax increase on cigarettes and the new tax on e-liquids. That's what those 16 people did. Why? I don't know. Is it because they don't think we're watching? They don't think we know? We don't think we care? They cared enough to sign the pledge. Why did they sign the pledge? Because they wanted us to know they were going to vote against tax increases. But if they meant it, why did they vote for this state budget? Now, let me give you an opinion, and this is my opinion. If they'll go back on their word as it relates to a signed pledge to oppose tax increases, what can we trust them to do? Should they be representing the citizens of the state of Indiana in the state legislature? That's a decision you, the voter, has to make. But in my opinion, if you can't keep a promise you made the voters in writing, what promises can you keep? How can I trust you to represent me when you're telling me one thing and doing another? And is that the kind of government we want in the state of Indiana? Do we want legislators who tell us one thing during the few months before an election, and then as soon as the session starts, they do something completely different? Is that really what we want? I don't believe so. You see, to me, these 16 people violated the public trust. They took a pledge. That pledge, whether they believe it or not, I believe that pledge is as binding as their oath of office, because it's their word. And if we can't trust their word, we can't trust their oath of office. And if we can't trust their oath of office, should they be in office? Now, what I'm going to ask each of you to do is very simple. If you'll go to find your legislator and you'll fill this in with your address and click search, it will give you the name and contact information for your state senator. And if you believe that a tax increase that is unnecessary because our governor has said that our coffers are full and that our $2 billion state surplus is intact. If that's true, why do we need a tax increase? Now, they'll tell you it's, because we need to put more money toward health programs here in Indiana. And I'm going to say, no, we don't. What we need to do is stop spending money on wasteful government pork programs that do not help Hoosiers. And if there's a legitimate health program that needs funding, we need to take the money from the things that we shouldn't be spending money on and reallocate them to something valuable. But we also need to have a discussion and a debate over whether or not it is the state government's responsibility to put funding into programs to change your behavior. You see, when they start talking about health-related programs, what they want to do is change the way you live your life. They want to dictate to you how to live, how to eat, how to exercise, what you should weigh. And I don't believe that's government's responsibility, nor is it any of their business. And when they start talking about, we're very low in the rankings of healthy states, that is not a reason to manipulate the behavior, to socially engineer the behavior of your citizens. That's not government's job. So I ask you, send an email, make a call to your state senator and say, that cigarette tax, that e-liquid tax, that needs to come out of the state budget. Because believe me, there are state senators eight of them who have signed the Taxpayer Protection Pledge. And they're going to get an email from me. I hope they get an email from you as well, reminding them of their pledge and the fact that that means they need to get those taxes out of that state budget or vote no on it. So I again encourage you, contact your state representative, contact your state senator, let them know you're against tax increases and that if they took this pledge, they better stand behind it. They better keep their word because 2022 is right around the corner. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you next time on the Liberty is Essential podcast. I'm Donald Rainwater.